Okay, let's get right into it. The hardest part of trading isn't learning a strategy. Not at all. It's learning how to ignore the constant, deafening noise of bad advice, those seductive shortcuts, and all the confident sounding theories that are, well, pretty much guaranteed to lose you money. I know this because I've fallen for just about every single one of them.
Right. So you're going to come across a lot of what I call trading wisdom that just gets passed around. And it sounds really convincing, especially when you're just starting out, but honestly, it's dangerously misguided. So let's start by taking apart a few of the biggest myths you are absolutely guaranteed to hear.
You will 100% hear someone say this with a completely straight face. It's not a real loss until you sell. This is probably the most common and, let's be honest, the most comforting lie in investing. It's an emotional crutch, not a strategy. The loss is very, very real, whether you've clicked that sell button or not. And this really cuts to the heart of it. An asset is worth what the market says it's worth. Period. You might feel like your house is worth $1 million, but if the best offer you can get is 500,000, then guess what? You've got a $500,000 house. Pretending otherwise is just sticking your head in the sand.
Here's another one that financial advisors just love: dollar cost averaging. And look, for a big, broad market index fund, it can make sense. But applying that same logic to individual stocks, it can be an absolute disaster. Buying more and more of a stock as it falls just turns one bad decision into a financial black hole. Trust me on this one.
Now, I'm not just criticizing these ideas from some ivory tower. I've made these exact mistakes myself. I spent years chasing after these crackpot theories that sounded so brilliant at the time. I read the books, I paid for the courses, and I just consistently lost money. So let's take a little walk through my personal hall of shame. Elliott waves, CFDs, sector rotation, you name it, I probably tried it. And every single one promised to be the secret key to unlocking the market. And every single one cost me not just a lot of money, but a lot of sleepless nights. This is the journey I really want to help you avoid. So Elliott wave theory is this really complex idea that market movements follow these predictable, repeating patterns, kind of like waves in the ocean. And it seemed so elegant. The problem, it is fantastic at explaining where the market has been, but it's utterly useless for predicting where it's going. It took a 25% drop in my account for that lesson to finally sink in.
This one still stings. I decided to get clever and trade Bitcoin using CFDs. Those are contracts for difference. You're basically just betting on price movements without actually owning the asset. In 2 days, just 2 days, I lost over 90% of my stake. And the worst part? If I had just bought and held the actual Bitcoin, that same investment would be worth 80 times more today. That is a painful lesson in opportunity cost. And this brings me to the siren song of asymmetric trading, the idea of risking a little for a massive potential payoff. I bought into this company, Dry Ships, a really downtrodden stock I thought was due for a huge bounce back. Well, instead, it lost 99.99% of its value. The crucial lesson here is that sometimes stocks are cheap for a very, very good reason.
So, after years of this frustrating, expensive, and frankly nerve-wracking journey, something just had to change. I was on the verge of giving up completely, thinking I was just never going to figure this out. But then came the turning point, moving away from chasing secrets and toward actually building a system. The real game changer for me was creating one solid, repeatable strategy, the ITM strategy, and then just committing to it. No more chasing holy grails. I just focused on clear in and out signals that were based on a set of rules I could actually test. I stopped looking for the next big secret and just focused on what was methodical and provable. Honestly, my goal here is pretty simple. I want to spare you from having to walk that same frustrating path. It was a 3-decade journey for me to figure all this out, and hopefully I can save you a whole lot of that time, money, and heartache. So what's the ultimate takeaway from all of my failures? Is that becoming a consistently profitable trader isn't about finding some magic formula. It's about developing the discipline to tune out that endless noise of bad advice and having the nerve to stick with your own proven strategy, especially when the crowd is insisting that you're wrong.